$50,000 for fishing. That's the fine they slapped on us, right on our doorstep, just because my wife Saraha, brilliant environmental scientist, mind you, dared to cast a line into the lake she actually helped restore. The HOA president, Karen, stood there with her plastic grin, spouting off about protecting community standards. But you could hear the subtext clear as day: those people don't belong here. But let me tell you what this racist HOA Karen didn't know. Sarah wasn't just any scientist, she'd been the lead consultant on the very project that saved that lake. And while Karen was busy forging documents and filing complaints, she had no clue we were about to flip her perfect little world upside down. You ever get that feeling you're about to see justice done? Well, keep watching, because the day the receipts dropped in Willowbrook Estates, it was like watching the bad guys in a movie realize the hero had all the evidence. But first, let me back up a sec, because all this started when we thought moving back here would be like coming home. I grew up riding my bike under those tree-lined streets, spent summers in that lake, thinking it was the most beautiful place on earth. 6 months into marriage, I figured Willowbrook was perfect. The houses were gorgeous, the lawns always manicured, and with Sarah's background, I figured she could help out with some lake conservation. What could go wrong, right? Sarah loved it. She'd be up at dawn, fishing gear in hand, sneaking off to the lake before heading to her job at the county environmental office. She knew every inch of that water. Sometimes I'd just stand on the deck, coffee in hand, watching her silhouette cast against the morning mist. Looked like something out of a painting, yet too good to last. The trouble kicked off one Tuesday in September. Sarah had only been fishing half an hour when I noticed Karen marching over from the clubhouse, blonde hair all perfect, business suit like she was heading into court, even though she was just out hunting for code violations. I'd known Karen since I was a kid. She was the type to tattle about playground rules, and I guess some people never grow out of it. From the kitchen window, I could see her smile never quite touched her eyes, always sizing you up. She gestured at Sarah's fishing rod, all friendly-like, but her posture told another story. 20 minutes later, Sarah came back in, looking puzzled. "That woman from the HOA," she said, dropping her tackle box. She asked about fishing regulations, kept emphasizing the word authorized. Felt weird. I'd been fishing that lake since I was 8. There were never any rules except don't leave a mess. But Sarah shrugged it off, poured herself coffee. I could see she was bothered, replaying the encounter in her mind. That afternoon, a man showed up with a clipboard and a gold-embossed envelope. Citation delivery. Insidian official-looking complaint, all neat handwriting, accusing Sarah of unauthorized lake access by non-residents. Right down to the color of her tackle box. The language was so blatantly racist, individual appears to be from outside the community demographic. I nearly put my fist through the wall. I called Karen. Her secretary said she was in meetings, never called back. So I marched down to the HOA office. She was there, reorganizing files like she was the mayor. I confronted her, showed her the complaint. She barely glanced at it. "Oh, that. We received some concerns about fishing activities. Maintaining the character of the neighborhood. When people see unfamiliar faces." "She's my wife, Karen." Of course. Just a misunderstanding. But we have to follow proper procedures." That people tone crawled under my skin. Some folks think they own the right to say who belongs. Next morning, a $500 citation showed up, signed by Karen herself, for trespassing on community property. Sarah's hands shook as she read it. "Marcus, I designed this lake's restoration plan. I wrote half these so-called guidelines." That's when I knew this wasn't about policy, it was about making Sarah feel unwelcome. That weekend, I gathered every document, deeds, tax records, insurance, all with Sarah's name. Walked the whole pile to Karen's desk Monday. She didn't even pretend to care. "Ownership and authorized usage are different, Marcus. Your wife may be on the deed, but we need to vet all users of our amenities." I told her, "This is a neighborhood, not the Pentagon." She had Janet escort me out. Next, I tried the security cameras. Surely the footage would clear this up. Janet called back, "No dice. Board privacy policy." But my neighbor Tom, who lived 3 houses down, flagged me. I probably shouldn't say this, but the cameras caught everything. Sarah was just fishing. Karen's showing the footage to select board members, but won't release it because it proves her complaint's a lie. That night, a formal complaint arrived from the county zoning office. This time, the racism wasn't even subtle urban elements. Different lifestyle. Something needs to be done before property values start dropping. Sarah just stared at the table. Marcus, I helped restore this lake, and this is how they treat me? I promised we'd fight, lawyer up, prove every word was bogus. She just looked tired, worn down from years of people questioning her credentials. Then came the inspector. Clipboard, badge, walked right onto our lawn. Environmental violation inspection. Unauthorized fishing activities damaging protected habitats. He wrote a report recommending a $50,000 fine claim. Sarah had damaged base spawning grounds. Even mentioned bluefin tuna and coral reefs. In a Michigan freshwater lake. Sarah laughed through tears. Bluefin tuna don't live in lakes. Coral reefs don't exist here. They forged an environmental report. That's a federal crime. The next morning, Karen was out front with 2 police officers and some guy in a suit. We need to speak with your wife about environmental violations. Sarah handled it like a pro, explained every regulation, pointed out the scientific impossibilities. The officers looked embarrassed by the end. Karen just grinned. So I did what I do best, dug through public records. My IT background helped. Turns out, Karen's son Tyler had applied for Sarah's job at the county environmental office 8 months earlier, didn't get it. Karen's husband ran an environmental testing LLC, which popped up right around the lake's restoration. Every contract, every fake report traced back to their house. I started visiting other minority families in the neighborhood. Carlos, a retired Army guy, had $11,000 in fines for nonsense like mailbox color. Mrs. Chun, a 40-year electronics technician, was cited for culturally inappropriate landscaping because she grew tomatoes. All the complaints, same handwriting, all signed by Karen. We pooled evidence, citations, notes, digital photos. Mrs. Chen's grandson David, a computer science major, helped us encrypt everything, set up surveillance. Mrs. Chun even had hidden audio recorders disguised as lawn ornaments. Meanwhile, Sarah uncovered that the inspector, David Chun, didn't exist. No license, no records, stock photo from the web. We submitted everything, 47 pieces of evidence to the sheriff's office. Turns out, they'd been hearing about similar scams in 3 other counties, all traced back to Blackwood environmental testing. When the story hit the news, the floodgates opened. Karen's photo plastered on the front page. The state pulled every one of her contracts. The FBI swooped in, and suddenly the neighborhood woke up. Even folks who'd signed complaints against us like Tom came by to apologize. The lawsuits started flying. The community turned. People shared their own stories of being harassed over stray cats or curry plants. The Blackwoods bank records showed $340,000 in stolen county funds, $180,000 in bogus fines. But then Karen made her final move. She had Sarah arrested, set up with planted evidence, fake bank accounts, forged signatures. For a minute there, it looked like Karen would get away with it. But digging through ancient property records, I found a land survey from 1987. The lake, public state property, not HOA owned. All those fines, all those trespass charges illegal. Every restriction, based on a fake quitclaim deed with a forged signature by Karen herself. Digital analysis confirmed the same handwriting across decades. With that, the whole house of cards collapsed. The DOJ dropped all charges against Sarah. The state sued the HOA. Karen and Robert were indicted for fraud, identity theft, conspiracy, the works. Karen ran for it, but only made it as far as a Nevada casino, caught on surveillance trying to launder cash through slot machines. Watching her dragged out in cuffs, ranting about her rights, was poetic. Robert confessed everything. Sarah's name was cleared with a public apology. We used the settlement money to buy exclusive management rights for the lake restoration, public access, conservation education, all under Sarah's watch. The new signs went up. Willowbrook Lake Public Recreation Area. Restoration by Dr. Sarah Williams. No more HOA permission required. No more fake violations for fishing while black. The families who'd been targeted all got their money back with interest. The Blackwoods got federal prison. Carlos became HOA president, Mrs. Chun the treasurer. The neighborhood finally felt like home. On the one-year anniversary, we held the first Willowbrook Lake Community Fishing Tournament open to everyone. Sarah caught the biggest bass, smiled, and said, "You know what the best part is, Marcus? That fish belongs to everyone now. No one gets to say who does or doesn't belong. So let me ask you, where do you draw the line on justice? Have you ever faced a bully like Karen? Drop your story in the comments. Tell me if you think justice was truly served. And if you believe nobody should have to fight for the right to belong, share this story because the next family might need to hear that the fight is worth it."